Welcome to the third Saturday podcast, and this is the one and only pilot, so you don't want to miss it. And I'm Josh Harbor. I'm here with my boy Cole Carr. We're in the house because we're too poor for a studio. How you doing today, Cole?
I'm doing fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I'm so excited we get to do this podcast. Finally. We've been talking about it for a while, it feels like.
You tried that podcast on your own, but on your own is kind of tough because we were living separate at the time.
Well, the thing about it was I had a co-host to start off. And it's just hard to get schedules when you don't live together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I can come in the room and be like, hey, we need to record tomorrow. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I'll be here all day. Yeah. So the third Saturday, let's talk about why we did this, like, or how we got the name.
All right. So for people who don't know, diehard Bama fan, Tennessee fan over there. Yep. And if you're not familiar with the rivalry, you wouldn't know, but the third Saturday of October is when that Alabama-Tennessee game is played every year. So we were thinking about how often we kind of want to do the podcast and maybe what we want it to be about. And sports is kind of in our blood, and then Alabama-Tennessee is kind of in our blood. So that's what it's going to be. We're going to drop it every third Saturday, and then it kind of fits along with that rivalry we have going.
Yeah, keeps us on schedule. We'll be like, we got to record this week.
Which we missed the first one. So
we missed it by like 2 days. We're saying like, we should record in a couple days.
Well, I think not all the equipment was in yet.
Yeah, we were waiting. There were some packages being sent other places they were not supposed to be, left on doorsteps that I thought, if this gets stolen, I will never financially recover from this. Little plug there. Yeah. If you got that, then you're the real. But yeah, it's the third Saturday podcast, once a month, every third Saturday. And we'll see where it kind of goes from there if we want to do more or whatever. But tentatively, that's where we're at right now. If you don't know, this podcast is taking place in Memphis. Let's go ahead, before we get into Memphis and how we got to live together, let's go ahead and just say stuff about ourselves. So you go ahead. Let them know who you are.
All right. Like I said, start off the podcast. My name's Josh Harbor. I was actually born here in Memphis, Baptist East. I've got a twin brother. He's sitting in the other room. He probably listen over here, maybe fact check us a little bit.
Yeah. And he does that in real life.
We moved to Corinth about an hour and a half from here. When I was like barely a year old, my dad took a job there at a church, and been there for like 21 years. When I was a freshman in high school, Cole's family moved to town, and then we just become friends ever since. Hanging out, fishing, playing sports, going to ball games, and then we went to Northeast. Cole's a year ahead of me, so he was already at Northeast, junior college. So we were there for 2 years together, about a year and a half maybe. And then he went to Mississippi State, same time we went to Mississippi State, about a semester ahead of us. But we lived together there for about a year. And then I just recently graduated and moved up here to Memphis. I got a job. And then my brother actually got into OT school at UT Memphis. So we got a house right down the road from Gibson's Donuts.
Boy. And Ben & Jerry's.
I probably met Cole 100 pounds ago.
At least.
And then Cole moved to the area. I'll let him tell his part of the story for that. But we're back living together. So we've been doing a whole lot of stuff together. So it's been fun.
Yeah. So, my name is Cole Carr, and I was born in Memphis. I lived in the Olive Branch area, South Haven area, until I was about 13. And then we moved to Corinth. We were down there at the lake every week, and it felt like I was doing a lot of fishing tournaments. So just my dad could live anywhere with his job, so he just said, let's go. So moved to Corinth. Like I said, met Josh my sophomore year of high school, his freshman year. We did everything together pretty much throughout high school. We got to college, like you said. So throughout college, I studied a little bit of marketing, and then I ended up just going into business for myself, doing photography, videography, and it just launched full-time, actually, before Josh had been like, hey, man, we're getting a house in Memphis, just move here. And I was like, dude, my business is just launching. It's doing really well. I can't just go. Well, the Lord before had called me to ministry, and an opportunity opened up in Memphis, or outside of Memphis. So I am now a director of communications for a church right outside of Memphis, actually working with Josh and Joe's older brother, Andrew Harbor. They've got a great podcast, Tiny Table, Big Questions. It's for their youth group. It's great. I'll give a little plug there.
Well, plug your own other podcast. You just had Tony Nolan on it.
Yeah, okay. So Kitchen Table Sessions is a podcast I do. It's like a devotional podcast. Sometimes we have guests on. We just had Tony Nolan on, which was great. He's great. Great interview.
I watched that one the other night before I went to bed. It was really good.
I
enjoyed
appreciate it. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I hit up Josh. He said, "Hey man, so like, I think I'm getting a job," and he's like, "Let's, hey, and it just worked out that we're living together again." And, which was great when this Corona thing happened, because if I'd been living by myself, and I'd have went insane.
Well, working from the house, which I think Joe's school's a full-time job at this point.
Yeah,
Which Joe hasn't been here the whole time. He's been living in Corinth a little bit with my parents.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got two newly careered guys working in the same house.
Weird.
With a PlayStation. So all that salary money isn't being spent on work.
Well, here's the thing. At the church I work at, we just started a gaming thing because our sports leagues, have been canceled. So I was like, that's a work expense for sure. So I talked myself into buying one, and we haven't stopped yet, just because when we get in with work for the day, like, we're not going anywhere. So it's been a lot of Call of Duty.
A lot of Call of Duty.
A lot. Oh yeah, but we're here in Memphis. And today we're going to kind of talk about what the podcast is, maybe get into a few stuff, but we're going to introduce a couple of our segments. So like one of the segments we're going to have is Memphis Eats, because Memphis, is known for good food, good barbecue. So
Great barbecue.
Yes, we're going to be reviewing that. We had the one and only barbecue the other day. I got a barbecue quesadilla.
Correct.
Which when you reading off the menu to me, I'm just like in my, like, I guess home office, whatever you want to say, over there, and he says, "Hey, they got barbecue quesadilla." I said, "That's all I need. That's fine. That's amazing," and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's what I got the same day. No, actually, I got those barbecue sliders. Barbecue sliders were really good. I've had one and only a few more times than Cole. Their ribs are my favorite ribs I've had here in Memphis. I grew up a Corky's baby. Always ate at Corky's when I came over here. I like that sweet barbecue sauce a little more than maybe the hot or spicy.
Yeah, their barbecue sauce is amazing.
You can definitely taste the brown sugar they use in their barbecue sauce on their ribs. It's more of a dry rub. You can get them, I think it's called Muddy.
Gotcha.
You had the barbecue quesadilla, and we still had some of that barbecue sauce in the refrigerator till now. Use that on Joe's Wild Turkey. Shout out to Joe.
Getting that turkey. We ate it the same day.
Called one in on his own, his first bird. And then didn't even put it in the refrigerator or nothing. Just ate it when he got it back to the house.
Yeah, we cooked it up, and it was good.
Deep fried it a little bit. It was very good. So Memphis Eats, definitely going to be a segment that we do.
Yeah.
Shout out to the one and only pilot, one and only barbecue. You can see the glass I have on the table.
There, yeah.
So, and then maybe do some seasonal stuff. Me and Cole both have kayaks. A bunch of friends do. We like to fish off of them. So, there's a river that runs straight through the heart of Memphis called Rio Lobos, the Wolf River.
That's what Josh calls it.
I like calling it the Rio Lobos. And it's got 11 different sections on it. We're going to try to do all 11 by the end of the summer, maybe into the fall if it gets too hot on us. But we did Section 10 the other day, the Ghost River section. So we're probably about to talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know what you thought about that trip, but I enjoy a trip where stuff doesn't go right. Not like it's bad stuff happens, but then when you're going, you have memories, like you remember. Like we've got some trips we can talk about in later podcasts about Arkansas and stuff. That was great. But in this one, like there's at one point where like my biggest worry was just like seeing snakes. I hate snakes. That's what I was worried about. But we got to the point where Andrew, his older brother, guy I work with, he was pulling our kayaks over like logs and trees that we couldn't just paddle over. And so little stuff like that and like not knowing if we're in the right spot. So we end up fishing the wrong spot for 2.5 hours almost, seemed like.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to where we realize that this is where the fishing is supposed to be had.
Too late.
It's middle of the day.
Late, yeah.
My feet are trying to be roasted.
I put my socks back on.
Yeah,
and just let them get wet.
Smart. And so it wasn't a good trip for fishing wise. It was a good trip though to go, I would say.
I've said multiple times it's one of those. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen each different section of this section of river before, but I've never seen them all so close together. So you start off in like hardwoods, I would call it, just like a normal little creek that you would be able to just anytime be able to see. And then it turned into just like a swamp. Like they call it the go section of the river because the current stops. It opens up. It's like a mile long, about a half mile, a little over a half mile wide, just swamp part of the river. And I mean, it's just tall, hard cypress trees covered all day long.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy in there if you don't know exactly where we're.
If those blue signs wouldn't have been there, I would have been lost. There's no doubt.
Definitely lost.
No doubt.
I mean, there were 6 of us. We kind of broke up in groups of 2 once we got in there.
Yeah.
And me and Mike went around the corner from Joe and Cole, probably paddled maybe 400 yards away. I was just trying to find the next turn in the trail, and B, maybe the next section of the river. And I was fishing a little section, and Mike said, "You caught anything?" Which Mike's not a big fisherman. And I said, "Not really." He said, "Why don't you go ask that other guy what he's throwing?" And I kind of look, and I can kind of see what I think's a kayak moving about 100 yards, maybe 200 yards away. And so I was like, "Yeah, we'll go back there towards those lily pads," because it's starting to open up into the next section of the river. I said, "I'll go over there and see what he's throwing." Paddle out there, maybe 5 minutes. Paddling around, couldn't find him. I said, "Mike, did you see where he went?" He said, "I don't know, but there's a lot of trees out here, so who knows?"
Yeah.
Didn't think anything about it. And then got lost in there kind of a few times. And then about 2 hours later, we catch up with Cole and Joe. And did y'all see the guy?
Yeah, so me and Joe are paddling, and we're trying to get to y'all just to kick it. There's no fish to be had at this point. And I look up, and I see Joe, they're right over there. And Joe says, I don't see him. I was like, the dude's right there. He's standing up. Is the guy standing up in his kayak fishing? I said, there's not a lot of people that do that, And it's definitely Josh. So I said, just go around the corner. You'll be able to see him. He goes, and there was nothing there. I mean, I clearly saw a dude standing up fishing, white shirt. Because I asked him, what color shirt is Josh wearing? He said, yellow. And I was like, oh, well, it's not him. It's somebody else. And the dude was nowhere to be found when I went around the corner.
We're not saying we saw a ghost, but
it was
we're
weird.
saying that section of the river, at least, it's called Ghost River for a reason. I mean, that current.
There's no current.
No current, and you may or may not see ghosts. A lot of snakes, though.
Oh, there was
a lot of snakes.
There was at one point where Joe was like paddling towards one, and I was like, why would you do that?
The funniest part's when that one tried to get in the boat with Mike. I wish y'all could have been there.
I wish I'd have been there for that.
We saw some big snakes. Like, we saw one that was probably close to 6 feet long, maybe.
Yeah.
And we saw some other bigger snakes. This snake wasn't as big. It was maybe 3 feet long, but it was headed right towards Mike's kayak.
That's the worst.
Mike was screaming for me to help him. I was like, "Mike, what am I going to do when I get over there?"
Exactly.
He tries to get in the boat with me. No, thank you. I'm going to stay over here.
Exactly.
And he was asking, "What do I do?" I'm like, "You hit it with the paddle. What do you mean? What do you do?"
Well, yeah, exactly. What do you mean? What do you do? You talk to it. Please don't come in here, sir. But no, it was a good trip. Definitely need to go again.
Oh, we need to do all 11 sections. I think the rest of it opens up a little bit more.
Yeah,
it got tight in certain sections.
Yeah,
3 rods were broken. None of ours.
I don't know how. I ran into some trees, man. I mean,
Andrew broke one.
2. One on river.
One on river. I actually broke Andrew's second one. And then Joe broke one on river, and then we broke one taken out. But Candy Fork next weekend should be fun. So maybe that'll make the next podcast if it's worth it. It's supposed to be pretty good trout fishing.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I need to go get a trout license, by the way.
And then another segment we're going to try to do, we're going to get to sports. We want to talk sports, but maybe if we ever get off the PlayStation, what we're watching on TV, just kind of give a review, maybe make some suggestions. And
yeah, like right now we're watching Psych and a lot of The Mentalists, which if you've watched either of those, you can kind of see where there's some similarities. Psych is like a comedy. It's 2 guys. One guy acts like he's a psychic, but he just really observant. His dad's taught him these traits as a kid. His dad was a cop, so he'll go into a room and see something that's out of place, kind of figure stuff out, and he acts like he's the sidekick for the cop. So it's pretty funny.
Because he can't admit that he's just a normal guy, or they wouldn't hire him.
Exactly.
They think he's got supernatural.
And plus,
powers,
he wouldn't be able to be as funny as he know what I mean?
And it adds to the comedy.
Yeah. And then we have The Mentalist, which is like a guy who at one time pretended to be like a TV sidekick, but he also was just really good at nonchalant, like hinted clues from people and gestures people make. And he could read people basically and their body language. But now he works for the CBI, which is the California Bureau of Investigation in this show. And it's more serious. He's funny, but it's more like it's serious stuff.
Which we need to get back to that because I'm interested to see if you ever start watching, maybe watch this whole Red John. If you'll understand, Red John's a serial killer, just how that storyline evolves. Not every show is about that one, but you know how seasons go, like crime shows.
Yeah.
They have each episode's about some crime, and then they'll have an underlying theme for the whole season.
Yeah.
At least the first 2 seasons have been about Red John, and those have been pretty interesting episodes.
Yeah, so. It looks pretty good to me. But yeah, we'll definitely be going through some reviews of stuff. We've been watching The First Dance a little bit.
The Last Dance. The Last Dance, Michael Jordan.
It's my first dance. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, he's only seen the first 2. I've seen the first 5. I've still got the 6th one to watch.
Wow, that should be a penalty or something.
2 minutes, $2.
2 minutes, $2. Shout out to Dan.
Dan Le Batard show. But no, The Last Dance has been one of the better documentaries I've seen.
One of the better sports documentaries I've seen, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... I mean, I've watched a lot of different documentaries. You watch the first 2, they're all kind of set up the same way. It's about the 97 team, so that 6 championship of Jordan's, but they're weaving the whole other 6 years into it.
Yeah.
How do you, as a media marketer, video guy, how hard is that to have found all that footage that doesn't match interviews, and just kind of, you know, tell that 6-year, 7-year story?
Okay, so the thing about documentaries is, like, I love documentaries. I want to shoot one so bad.
You're shooting a little short film right now.
Short film, but, like, I would love to shoot a documentary. Because the thing about documentaries is, like, this was filmed years ago, obviously. And these guys have been sitting on this footage. They probably have been editing it for the last few years, I would say.
Yeah.
But they have not gotten permission until 2016 to move forward with it.
And Michael Jordan had the rights to all this?
Yeah, because Michael Jordan, they asked if he could film, back, when he was playing, and he said, yeah, go for it, but you can't do anything, until I give you the okay, basically, because it's of him.
Yeah.
So that was smart. But yeah, these guys have been just sitting on this, just hoping and praying that Michael Jordan would do this. But no, it's definitely something that takes years. But it's something that they definitely have been editing and doing throughout the years, for sure.
I like it. I've watched all the 30 for 30s, E60s out there, and one of my favorite 30 for 30s is the Bad Boy Pistons, and 3 and 4 were kind of about the Bad Boy Pistons, more about Dennis Rodman, which I thought they did a good job of portraying his life and how he got there, and how pivotal he was to the Pistons beating Jordan, and then how he was for Jordan beating the Pistons. But you see all these 30 for 30s that they've been doing for years. Actually, some of the interviews they've pulled from the Bad Boys, from Larry Bird, Magic, from the Dream Team. They've pulled different interviews.
Yeah.
And you've been waiting for a Michael Jordan documentary. Yeah. It just hasn't happened yet, and here it is. And I'm super excited for it. 5 and 6 are finally starting to get more towards the championship years. I think the rest of the way is going to be very interesting as they finish out that Scottie Pippen getting terribly underpaid contract.
That was,
and then the breakup.
So. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So that's been exciting. One thing that's been really exciting for me is this past week has been a great week for me. Like I said, I'm a UT fan. Our recruiting class is number 2 right now, which is amazing
for 2021, right?
For
2021, yeah.
So last season was tough. It was I thought it was gonna be just a down. There's lots of downs and ups. So like I'm flying from Chicago to Atlanta last year. I knew I was gonna miss the first game, and we're playing Georgia Southern. So I was like, it'll be okay. We're gonna beat them, even if we play bad. We'll beat them by 2 touchdowns. It'll look bad, and people will be tweeting, but it'll be fine. So I get in the airport and I change. I was at somewhere, so I was dressed up, and so I changed and put my Tennessee hat on, walking through the airport. I see a huddle of Tennessee fans, and I haven't checked the score yet. I was going to watch it, but then I looked at, they were watching at the sports bar or whatever, and I walked past it, and there's like a minute left, and Georgia Southern's up like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I just started patting him on the back, and I said, I'm sorry. It's going to be another year. Seems like it. And
next year's your year. Then.
Yeah. And so I hate to say this because I've been a Tennessee fan my whole life, but it just gets disappointing at some point. So I took the hat off. I swapped hats. I always keep multiple hats on me. And so swapped it. And the first half of the year was horrible to watch. And then second half, picked it up, played some defense. It turned out okay. And so definitely looking up, but I did not see us getting our recruiting up this quick. I knew and then the one guy I'm excited about, I knew he would get some defensive guys for sure. But Cody Brown is a running back. He's a 4-star.
Is he the one that you said was all over Twitter?
All over Twitter recruiting guys, being like, hey, guys, come on, which I love that.
Don't you love when you get one guy and he's going to go out there and self-pitch the rest of the guys?
Okay, he's labeled as a 4-star, but, man, that guy recruits.
A 5-star
he's
heart.
a 5-star heart, no doubt. But he's recruiting. Man, he's recruiting. But, no, super excited. Just hopefully what's
your over-under win total next year?
It's going to be hitting 8 in the regular season. That's just – it's
regular. So 8-3 regular season.
Yeah, and then I think we'll pick up a bowl game. So I think 9 wins. We could have had 10 last year if you win the gimme games. So
you could have had Bama if dude didn't fumble.
Yeah, but like I'm cool with that. But yeah, we could have had 10 last year. So I'm gonna say 9 is a achievable goal.
I love Pruitt as a coach. I loved him in Alabama. I thought he was. We've struggled to find a decent defensive coordinator since Kirby Smart left to be a head coach. Even though I think he's still a defensive coordinator, he still can't win the big game. Mark Richt with a bad haircut. I mean, he is. And then apparently they've got another quarterback this year that's supposed to be drafted high, but he's –
I love when they do that. I looked up the mock draft for next year.
Hasn't even played a game.
I haven't even played a game yet. I don't even know his name. I don't think they knew his name. I think it's a Georgia quarterback. I looked up the mock draft just because I was bored the other day.
Yeah.
Need some sports for next year. And it says, like, first round, like, 12th pick, Georgia quarterback. And I was like, who is back there?
Back to Pruitt, he's one of those that will take talent. He's really good at getting talent, but he'll take under-talented guys and develop skills to make them play more talented than they really are. So, I mean, they're on our schedule, but I'm worried about them. I mean, I don't follow Tennessee's page, but I follow Alabama on Bleacher Report, and it's supposed to be Alabama landed so-and-so over Tennessee and others, and instead I've gotten updates this week. Tennessee landed running back over Alabama, Auburn, and others. So, it should be interesting. I think next year we'll get a good game. It's at Neyland next year, right?
I think so. No, you went to Neyland last year, did you not?
No. We played at home last year.
Oh, when'd you go to Neyland? Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago we were there. Yeah, I went in person.
Oh, okay.
So back at Neyland. So I think y'all will give us a game this year, and then 2 years from now, I think
we'll give you 3. We'll give you 3 quarters. I think we'll give you 3 quarters. We basically gave you almost 3.5 quarters last year.
What about the rest of that week? What else good's happened? You mentioned Tennessee kicked off good. Imagine.
Oh, you're talking about the golf, aren't you?
Golf.
You're talking about Tiger Woods, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Phil Mickelson in that order.
I've never seen clips of Brady playing.
No, see, I've seen a lot. I've watched a lot of pro-ams. I like watching them. I think that's just a cool facet of golf.
Yeah.
And never seen Tom Brady in one.
Peyton plays in them all the time.
Peyton plays a lot, yeah, and so he's definitely going to be a decent player. I was surprised how they paired him, just because I don't know how Tom Brady plays.
How do you think? Do you think they picked, or how do you think they decided?
I think Tiger and Phil called each other, and Phil called dibs on somebody. I think Phil is a big Brady guy. That's what my guess is, but I could be wrong. That's my hunch. But what I'm excited about, not the front nine. Front nine's best ball. You won't see them play a lot of the guys' shots unless they make a putt or something. What I'm excited about is the back nine, because the back nine is alternate shot.
Well, it said some form of alternate shot. What do you think that's going to pertain in? Do you think it'll reset every hole?
I don't know. They may get to reset, and like Tiger may get to say, "I'm hitting the driver every hole."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which would probably be smart.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be fun to me because
in normal alternate shot, whoever ends the last hole, the next person's got to start.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I think maybe they'll reset it so it's in the fairway more.
So Tom Brady and them aren't, taking a drive off the course. Yeah. But I'm excited about that because that's when you get into funny.
That's May 24th?
May 24th. I'm not sure the time or anything like that. But
I wonder, are they going to pay-per-view it, or are they just going to put this thing on TV because of the whole Corona thing going on?
I think I'm going to bet ESPN might pays them just to put it on TV.
That's what I'm thinking. Somebody pays to put it on TV. Because last year, it was like Bleacher Report did it live. Let's get some money that way. But they're doing it for charity, for one. And for two, there's absolutely nothing on.
Yeah.
And
we watched Horse a couple weeks ago.
Everybody thought it was going to be in June, but now it's moved up to May 24th. I think it's for the TV money because actual golf is supposed to start June 1st. And I think Tiger and Phil wanted out of there.
Yeah. I think
they wanted to go ahead and do that before the season kicked off.
I think so. They don't want that distraction mid-season. Especially with Tiger chasing down Jack. So
how many away is he?
He's at 8. He's at 15. So he needs 3 to tie. If he ties, there's no question.
And Sam Snead owns the PGA wins.
They're tied.
81, 82?
82, I do
82.
believe. They're tied. So he can go get that as well. He tied him over in Japan this past year, I'm pretty sure. So excited about golf coming back for sure. One thing I thought I would never say is one thing I don't watch a lot of baseball, but Korean baseball is here, people.
Hey, SportsCenter needs something to show.
The thing about it though is, the first night, like when it came on or whatever, it was on at midnight here, so that was not bad. I didn't watch it though. I had missed it. So now it's gonna be like 4 a.m. So if I'm gonna catch a game, it's because I'm getting up and I'm gonna watch the end of a game.
If the games are good, I'm sure they're gonna show reruns, but it's not the same. They've been showing reruns of everything. It's not.
I
live
don't want a
sport.
rerun. I need live.
They had a bunting tournament. I bet that was exciting.
I would. Yeah, that's right up my alley.
I was watching highlights. Apparently, either somebody just went back and found old footage, or they actually kicked off the season with this. But yeah, like a bunting tournament, little targets out there, and you were trying to roll them into the square, like those Olympic sports.
Shaving. You shave the ice.
The shaving in the ice thing.
Joe, hey, what's that Olympic sport that they,
on the ice where they've
shaved it? Yeah, he'll hit us with something here in a second.
But yeah, it looked really dumb.
Hey,
and
he just typed it up. Curling. It's curling. Thanks. Yeah, so it's curling.
Yeah, Joe's gonna be our look it up guy.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's gonna fact check us.
He likes to fact check us in real life, so we might as well have him on the podcast virtually. Maybe you'll see his face in the next couple episodes. All right, curling.
Curling. Yeah. So, but there's actually Americans over there playing too.
I heard that.
There's pitcher. He pitched the other night. He didn't wear a mask, which they're not making all the players wear a mask. If you're there and you're not a player, you have to wear a mask. Like even some of the coaches are.
Yeah.
And some of the players are even wearing them, but the American pitcher, he didn't wear one when he pitched the other night. So
my guy.
So I mean, we'll see how that.
I just can't breathe in those things.
They're.
The bad breath is what would get me, man. Like
you gotta chew that bubble gum.
I brush my teeth, but man, after a while, man.
Some of those guys at Dip couldn't wear a mask.
Oh.
Do you think they'll make circling back to the PGA Tour? Do you think they'll make the rules officials and anybody out there
wear a mask? They're wearing a mask. Yeah. Even if they don't make them, they will for appearances, I think.
What about caddies and players? I don't think they'll make the players.
No. And I think caddies and players are with each other so much anyway that they're not even wearing a mask because they're like each player will be so far from the other player, and caddy and player are with each other every day. So,
do you think they're gonna have less people per tournament just to kind of cut down the traffic?
Well, there's no fans, but I know what you're saying as far as less people working.
I meant like less players. They have a super big and go down to a cut.
I don't think they can.
Do you think they'll start with a smaller field?
I don't think they can do that because people have already gotten their PGA cards, from the web.com the year before.
Yeah, but some of those amateurs that play in it.
Yeah, they may not let amateurs in, but there's maybe 3 or 4 amateurs a tournament that play.
Yeah.
Even if that, I can't remember. It's the big tournaments you usually see the amateurs, like Masters and stuff. But since they got their pro cards, they've already dished them out. So, but they'll definitely the tee times may be spaced more. I don't know.
And they're coming back in June.
Yes.
Regular golf.
Yeah.
No fans.
Yeah, no fans. Which it's Tiger said it will help him. I don't see how that's possible. Because if you
he might actually get a think. He hasn't heard his own thoughts in 20 years.
The thing about it is though, like, I don't know about you, but like in sports, that stuff fuels me. Like regardless of the outcome. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's cheering against you or if somebody's cheering for you. So, and you saw what I did to Brooks Koepka on that tee box on, I think it was 15, when he saw Tiger get that birdie, and he knew he had to make birdie on that hole. So, I don't know. We'll see what it goes. I don't think it'll affect a lot of players. Sergio Garcia won't affect him at all. He has no fans. Patrick Reed's fine.
Patrick Reed, no fans. But are they going to – I know they'll have rules officials out there. They'll have TV crews out there because ESPN, CBS, somebody wants to put it on TV right now when there's absolutely nothing. But I saw an interview with Koepka, and then I saw another one with Rahm, and they were concerned about actually finding their ball off the tee, something you don't really think about. They missed the fairway by about 10 yards. Grass is a little higher. Usually there's a fan close by that can point, either go stand over it. Do you think they'll have more spotters out there than normal?
There'd have to be. And what I think will happen is you got a lot of security out there.
Yeah.
With there having less fans, I think you'll see less security maybe and more ball spotters.
More ball spotters.
Yeah, because they'll be spaced out regardless down the fairway, so they'll be 6 feet or more apart. So I think that's the route they're going to go.
That's my guess. How long do you think they'll go the whole summer, no fans?
No. I think since the season's going to push closer through September and November, I think by then, because college football is going to be back. We're not saying it's not coming back. It's coming back. So by then there'll be fans there for sure.
Fans. Do you think, and this is sports in general, because I think I might have a different perspective than definitely my mom, maybe my dad. I think you're probably closer to me. Do you think when they do let sports and fans come back, do you think we'll have smaller crowds because people are scared to go? Or do you think when we go back, there's enough people that are like, I don't care, that tickets may be a little cheaper, but stadium are still going to fill up?
So, yeah, there's no way they're not going to fill up. I think you'll lose a certain – so there's always people who want to go to a game that don't go. I don't go to a lot of the games. I would love to go to a couple games a year, but I don't go to a lot of them. With the way things have been, I think you'll see some families not go. Maybe
but more individuals.
Maybe some older people who have season tickets.
Maybe not go.
But I can see them just handing them to their grandson and whatever and letting them go. They were here in college or whatever. So you're still going to get a full stadium. It just may be a different people, like, dynamic.
Well, they've said that at the beginning of the season, they might kind of like Millington, First Baptist Millington, where Cole works. They're talking about how they're going to go back to church. But, spreading out families or ticket holders that bought together and doing like 75% or 50% capacity. Do you think they'll even try that, or they're like either we're coming back full fans or coming back no fans?
Well, by then, so like we're supposed to hit 50% in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So by then, if we're not at 100%, I don't know.
I mean, it's different.
By
from
then,
saying,
we gotta be there about 100% by then. There's no way.
But it's different from saying like a church or like a Walmart that can have 1,000 people in it at a time.
It's 100,000 people.
100,000 people at Tennessee Stadium or Alabama Stadium. Yeah. That's a different kind of 100% capacity.
I think
because at Walmart you might drive.
Yeah, but if it's 100%, that means the quarantine's gone anyway. So it won't be so 6 feet if it's 100%.
Yeah, but people, Sadie, my girlfriend, was saying that they're pushing concerts back to like next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw that. I think that's more so because they've already had to cancel. I would hate.
You think people are just taking vacations?
Well, I don't think that. I think like they've already had to probably reimburse people for tickets. A lot of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to go through that again just to start like 4 months earlier.
And then get it called off again.
Yeah, and have to reimburse people. I think that's why they're waiting. I think you might even see some move up if we go back to 100% by the end of the year. So, but I think, and there's some other sports, NBA, they're trying to discuss when they're coming back.
They've got a 25-day plan. I just don't. Have they started that yet?
I saw an Instagram post. I don't know if it's one of those fake sports accounts, but they're saying the states that have been open, because a lot of states opened this past week, they have gone back to practice. But I'm not sure about as NBA as an organization.
Do you think the NBA is going to just start back, finish their regular season, go to the postseason? You think they're going to cut some regular season games?
I think they want the regular season still. I mean, that's 15 games that people are going to be glued to their TVs, like for money-wise. But I think if it was like...
Oh, Grizz are the 8 seed right now. Shout out to Memphis.
Lakers better watch out.
They could just stop.
What I think, though, is they're not going to jeopardize their entire finishing this season, whether that be regular season or playoffs or just playoffs, by saying we want it all. And then, people Flack will come back saying, why don't, no, it's too soon, so they may just do the playoffs. I don't know. Either way.
I think they're going to finish this season regardless, no fans. I think NBA is the most.
Even the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they're the most woke out of all of them. I think they're going to, because you're talking.
That's a horrible atmosphere.
They got to finish by the end of July if they want to have a season next season because of the all season and all that. So I think they're going to shorten this down and maybe even shrink playoff series to best of 5, the first 2 rounds maybe, because they want it done by July because they don't want to miss any on the next season.
Yeah, which I think this is going to push them to having only 50 or so games in the regular season anyway. I think you'll see 20 games off the next season. I think this will be the easiest way for them to do that. They'll take a few months off maybe. Maybe we won't start like a month later, but we're going to have a lot less games, I think.
I think baseball's finally going to cut games from 162.
Baseball. I love baseball in person, but man, it is just.
I'm missing it. Love it.
I love
games.
it in person, but I just can't.
I mean, I finally got called into some baseball when we were at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Shout out to the best college baseball stadium in America.
It's beautiful.
We used to go to midweek games, but me and Joe will sit around and watch the Braves play. I mean, just a midweek game.
See, and I can't just hop on a bandwagon because. So here's where I'm at. My girlfriend is from St. Louis, so huge Cardinals
You
fans.
can't be a Cardinals fan. Not live in this house.
Huge.
You're already a Tennessee fan. I let that slide.
Huge Blues fans, which they just won. So I mean, I'm glad to hop on board. But so I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I'm not gonna be that guy that texts you and says, "Hey, man, Cardinals beat the Braves."
Okay, so Nashville is close to Knoxville.
Yeah.
The Titans are good now. They're better now.
We'll see.
They have the Predators good now. So you should just be a Predators and and a Predators fan and
hey,
and then just snag the Braves just right down below them.
I have a Predators pullover. It was great. Marshall's great deal. Sarah gave me flag for that. So we'll see.
How big of a Blues fan is she?
She's
Could
just
she name more than one player?
probably not. She is a St. Louis fan. There's some days where she's just like, "We have the best this," and I'm like, "No, you don't."
See, Memphis is weird
don't.
because we were born in Memphis and we grew up not far from Memphis.
Yeah.
But Memphis literally just has the Grizzlies. So if you're gonna reach out and try to grab from another sport, if you're in Memphis, you're close to Nashville. So you have the Titans, the Predators over there, and you're really not far from St. Louis. A lot of people in this area grow up St. Louis
Cardinals
fans because of the Redbirds here in Memphis.
Yeah, exactly.
And they used to have the Rams, but now the Rams are gone. So from this area, there's a lot of a lot of pulling from different cities instead of just
cities.
Like Philly. You have every sports team in that one city. Chicago, everybody in that one city. So I could see where, because of her, you could be a Cardinals fan, but it's unacceptable.
Well, see, here's the thing with baseball. So I say, my oldest sister was a competitive softball player. We traveled a lot, and I was supposed to play baseball. I mean, they love softball. I loved it at the time.
Yeah.
Played t-ball, and I'm in the backyard and I'm hitting. I get winged in the face with a baseball, and I was like, so let me run this back. I got ice in my face. I'm running this back in my head. You're getting to throw this as hard as you can, and I have to try to hit it. Nah, I'm out.
I stopped at coach pitch.
I jumped over to soccer, where I still got demolished by some really tall French guys. I mean, I got kicked in the face one time and I was out cold. But back to baseball. So I can't get on board with baseball like watching on TV like you guys do, but I do enjoy in person, great weather.
Which I think
hot dogs.
I'll agree. I think going to a game is way better, and I think watching can get kind of boring.
Yeah,
it feels like it's inning after inning.
People say that with golf, but I could watch golf for days.
You nap during golf, though. I've seen you watch golf.
That's great, though, because golf, it's either super exciting and we're all at the edge of our seats, or those British soft voices will put you right to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because golf's more aesthetic.
Tiger, he's going. It's a lot of ASMR, and so it puts you right to sleep. But yeah, I'd be okay if baseball had less games. But
I think they're going to have to cut the season down now. They've already missed about a month of games, which I'm missing the Braves. And I was excited for their season. They let a few people go. I didn't want to let go.
The bringer of rain.
The bringer of rain is gone. I think he's at the Rockies now once he left, which he was asking for too much money, but pay the man.
Yeah.
We picked up Azuna, so we now have Acuna and Azuna.
Yeah. You could have said anyone's name, and I would have thought they were a baseball player.
And then the pitching staff's going to be good this year, so I think we're set to make the playoffs again, but we're not going to make it past the divisional series like we did last year, which the Cardinals, creamed us in one inning, or we would have been.
They wasted all their runs in that one inning. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe an NLCS, but I think you're going to see them cut from 62 games to maybe try 140, 130, which could be good for both NFL and MLB to cut games. I think they both.
Which NFL added games this year?
Which they both started. Yeah, it's different because NFL is so small. People want more and more games. But back in the day, when TV took off, everybody was wanting to watch basketball and baseball, and they just kept adding games.
Yeah.
Well, now there's so much out there, TV-wise, with Netflix and stuff like that. People don't get really interested into the playoffs. I think maybe cutting games isn't that bad of
No,
an
I
idea
think it's fine. I think it's great
for both of those sports.
Yeah.
And then the NFL, they added another wild card game.
They
Is that
added,
what they
I
added?
think they added a wild card game. I think it was.
Or they just add a total week 17.
I thought they might have done.
Was it another playoff spot or another?
At
regular
first
season
they were talking
game?
regular season. I'd have to.
Hey Joe, did they add a regular season in the NFL like a game, or did they add in the playoffs?
But yeah, getting back to like sports in general, super excited that it's all gonna be like happening at the same time, probably.
Yes, all in the fall.
So
if it happens,
if
which we want it to happen.
You can't say if it is going to happen. So super excited about that. But as we wait for Joe on this answer,
You're gonna have baseball in the fall. You're gonna have NFL and college. Which the NFL's already said if college isn't playing, they're gonna play on Saturdays.
that's weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, they've already do that for some.
I don't know how I
playoff
feel
games.
about that. Oh, whoa. Here we go. We got some information from Joe. The new deal is, which runs until 2030, means playoffs will be increased from 12 to 14 teams.
So they're adding another wild card.
Okay,
team.
got you. Okay, cool.
So they're adding another bye week.
Yeah.
So somebody else gets a bye other than the 1 seed.
Yeah, I got you.
I kind of like that.
I like it. That's cool. All right.
The problem with the problem with adding another regular season game is a lot of players said if you add that, we're only going to play 16 games.
Yeah.
So now you have teams playing teams that aren't at full strength.
Yeah.
So I think another playoff team's good.
It's fine with me. I mean, you would have had Pittsburgh in the playoffs if you'd have had it this year like that. I think I saw something about that. So, which is crazy.
Which they went through.
Coach of the year.
He's a really good coach.
He's so good. But yeah, so this is kind of the gist of kind of what this podcast is going to be about. We're going to go through movies, sports, anything really.
Bigfoot, aliens.
We'll have to bring on Baker for that.
And then we're going to have different interviews, too.
Yeah.
We'll bring people on. Like, we'll probably have Joe on every now and then just because he's living in the house, talk about stuff. He's really into coffee, and so is a couple of other friends.
Black Rifle.
They don't roast or anything, but they've been subscribed to every other kind of thing you can get on the internet. So it'd be interesting to have them on and talk about it. I think Joe made 3 different cups of coffee 3 different ways this morning.
Yeah, he did. He for sure
they
did.
can come on and kind of give some reviews of stuff they've tried.
Yeah.
And then we maybe even do some gaming every now and then.
We'll see what different avenues we go down this rabbit hole as we continue this.
We should plug Trey's
Yeah. So if you're looking for a gaming channel to tune into, cool guy, pretty good gamer. Unknown Hero is his gaming tag. He's got an Instagram. He's got a YouTube. Look that up. Also, before we get off of here, I'm going to go ahead and let you know this podcast is available video on YouTube. The YouTube channel is The Third Saturday. You'll be able to find us there. You'll see these lovely cartoon pictures of us.
Hey, by the way, comment below who looks more like their character.
Yeah, because we have mixed opinions. You should have seen the first drafts we got. Maybe that's what one episode will be about.
Yeah, we'll release those drafts.
But yeah, and you'll be able to listen to this most likely when you're hearing this on Apple Podcast and or Spotify. The Third Saturday. But yeah, this has been The Third Saturday with Josh Harbor and Cole Carr. We look forward to many other Third Saturdays with you guys. So we're out.
See ya.